So, have you ever stopped and just wondered, is any of this actually real? What you see, what you hear, what you feel? Well, today, we're going to get into a really revolutionary idea from neuroscience that says your brain doesn't just see the world, it actually creates it. And this idea, it could totally change how you think about your own mind and even what the future of AI looks like. Let's get into it.
This quote from neuroscientist Anil Seth really just hits you, right? It's the core of this whole mind-bending idea. What if your reality, everything you're experiencing right now, isn't a direct snapshot of the outside world, but a construction project happening inside your own head? It's a wild thought that flips everything we thought we knew about perception on its head.
To really get our heads around that, we need to talk about something scientists call a controlled hallucination. I know, it sounds a little out there, but stick with me. The idea is that your brain's main job isn't to just react to stuff, but to actively generate your entire experience of the world, from the inside out. Yeah, so the old way of thinking was that the brain is basically a camera. It just passively records whatever comes in through your senses. But this new model, it paints a way cooler picture. Think of your brain more like a detective, right? It's constantly making predictions, hypotheses about what's out there, and then it uses your senses, like clues, to check if it got it right. And that brings us to the absolute core of how we learn. This thing called prediction error. It's that jolt you feel when something totally unexpected happens. That gap between what your brain thought would happen and what your senses actually report creates this powerful signal that scientists just call surprise. And that surprise, that's the secret sauce for how we learn and adapt. So at the end of the day, your brain has one fundamental mission: keep that surprise to a minimum. It is constantly tweaking and refining its internal model of reality, trying to get so good at predicting what's coming next that basically nothing catches it off guard. It's this non-stop effort to stay one step ahead of the world.
Okay, so this whole prediction thing doesn't just explain how we see and hear. It also completely changes the game for understanding how we feel about the world. And this is where we find the really surprising logic behind our emotions.
You know, we've all been told our whole lives to separate our logical head from our emotional heart, as if they're constantly at war with each other. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? What if emotions aren't the entity of reason at all? And here's the massive shift in thinking. The predictive view says that emotions aren't some messy bug in our programming. They're a critical feature. They're not just random noise, they're data. Emotions are basically the brain's progress report on how well its predictions are lining up with what's actually happening. Just think about it for a second. When you feel good, calm, content, that means your predictions are on point. But that feeling of anxiety or frustration, that's just a big flashing prediction error. It's your brain's alarm system screaming, hey, the map we're using doesn't match the territory anymore. Time for an update. So we know that the brain can reduce surprise by changing its internal model, by changing the map. But it has another tool in its belt, one that is way more powerful. What if instead of just changing the map, you could actually change the territory itself? This is the game changer. It's called active inference. See, we're not just passive predictors, sitting back and watching the show. We actively go out and shape our world to make our predictions come true. When you predict you're going to grab that coffee cup, it's your action that closes the loop and makes that prediction a reality. There's this brilliant little story that flips the emperor's new clothes on its head. Imagine the emperor's new tailor, right? He's locked in a room and he has to guess what the emperor will want to wear. Huge risk of prediction error. But instead of just guessing, he actively shapes reality. He tells servants to go spread rumors that blue diamond patterns are the hot new thing. He influences the emperor to want the very thing he's already making. You see, he doesn't just predict the future, he creates it. And that's where this gets really profound for all of us. Our predictions can become self-fulfilling prophecies. The things we believe aren't just passive observations, they are active forces that go out and shape our reality. We instinctively act in ways that make our expectations, both the good and the bad, come true. All right, so if this powerful predictive engine is the blueprint for human intelligence, the next question is pretty obvious, isn't it? Can we use this blueprint to build a truly intelligent AI? This is where this whole theory makes a giant leap, from inside our skulls to the future of technology. So, the AIs we're all talking about today, the large language models, are absolute masters of text. They're kind of like someone who has read every single book in the library but has never actually set foot outside. All of their knowledge is built on the statistical patterns between words, not from any direct experience in the real world. And the difference here is just stark. LLMs are static. They're trained on a big pile of past data. But an active inference AI would be dynamic, designed to learn all the time through interaction, just like we do. It's the difference between an AI that can write a story about a robot exploring a room and an AI that can actually be that robot, learning and navigating in the real world.
This means we're talking about an AI that doesn't just spit back patterns it's already learned. It would explore, adapt to surprises, and take action to meet its goals. And that right there is why this approach is so incredibly promising for messy, real-world problems. Everything from self-driving cars to smart robots to logistics.
Okay, let's pull all these threads together now. What we've really seen is how this one powerful idea, the predictive mind, weaves its way through everything, from our own consciousness all the way to the future of artificial intelligence. So this theory gives us a whole new toolkit for understanding ourselves. Your perception, it's an invention. Your emotions, they're totally rational signals. Your actions, they can literally shape your world. And what's just incredible is that the AI of the future might be built using the exact same principles. At the end of the day, this isn't just a theory about brains or a cool blueprint for AI. It's a potential unified theory of intelligence itself. It suggests that the same core principle, minimizing surprise, is what drives everything from the way you see color to the most advanced thinking machines we can possibly imagine.
So, we'll just leave you with this one last thought to chew on. If your reality is a prediction, if it's a story that your brain is telling itself, well, you have a lot more power than you think. The only real question left is, what story are you going to predict next?